Amsterdam is hands down Europe's capital of bicycle riders. It's home to an estimated 900,000 bikes. That's more than the population of the city center. In 2001, the world's first bicycle parking garage was built at the city's central rail station. Sean Cody has been offering individual sightseeing tours of the capital with his company Joyride Tours for the past 7 years, naturally by bike.
For me, one of the most interesting things about Amsterdam isn't just the beautiful city, but it's also the citizens that make up the city. It's people from all over the world, and it actually just beat out New York as having the most variety of nationalities in any city in the world. It's also a very small city, so I find it quite enjoyable that it's only about 1.6 million with the suburbs, maybe 800,000 with the city center. So you get this international city feel, but you're in a very small, livable, enjoyable city.
Many of Cody's tours start off at Dam Square, the birthplace of Amsterdam. In the 13th century, local fishermen dammed the river Amstel and settled in a village they called Amsterdam. The square is also home to the 17th century royal palace.
Originally, this was not a royal palace. This was the mayor's office in Amsterdam. And if you look at it, that's why it's not an impressive building. If you compare it to Versailles or Windsor Castle, it's not impressive at all. But originally, this was the largest civic building in Europe, and it celebrated the power of the Republic.
In the 17th century, Amsterdam rose to become a key center of international trade, amassing unimagined wealth. This is when the world-famous Canal Ring area was developed. Swampland was drained using a system of 165 canals in concentric arcs. Today, the urban ensemble is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Often the houses along the canals were commissioned by wealthy merchants. Many were Calvinists, which is why the houses are modest in design. Wealth was displayed in more subtle ways.
This black house here is a good indication of that. It's a very thin house. It's quite tall. And if you look at the glass on it compared to the house right behind me, you'll see it's got very large windows. This was a way of showing wealth in the old days.
Amsterdam boasts no fewer than 44 museums. One is the Van Gogh Museum. It houses a collection of 200 works by the Dutch artist. Another must-see is the Rijksmuseum, the National Museum of the Netherlands. It was already a traffic-friendly building when it opened in 1885, and today it could well be the only museum that you can ride a bike through. It holds works by Dutch Golden Age masters like Vermeer and Rembrandt.
The Rijksmuseum is built around the 1800s, and it's designed by a gentleman by the name of Pierre Cuypers. And if you arrive in Amsterdam by train and you see the central train station, it's actually designed by the same architect, actually. So that's why they look very similar in design.
One of Amsterdam's top tourist destinations lies on the Prinsengracht, the Anne Frank House. Every day, long lines form outside the museum. In 2016, it attracted almost 1.3 million visitors. This is where the 13-year-old Jewish girl, Anne Frank, went into hiding with her family during World War II to escape the Nazis, and where she wrote her world-famous diary. A tour of the secret annex conveys the claustrophobic conditions of the hiding place. The rooms are unfurnished, but there's an exhibit of personal objects that belonged to the people who hid here. Onward by bike through Amsterdam. The Netherlands are famous for their cheeses, so the next stop on our tour is one of the many cheese shops in the city. Kazhuis Trump has all the classics on offer, among them Gouda, Emmentaler, and Appenzeller.
The soil in the Netherlands is very, how do you say it? It's very good for growing really fine grass. So keeping cows is really a thing for the Dutch. And cows, they give a lot of milk, of course, and from that milk they make the cheese. We make a lot of cheese, we eat a lot of cheese. The Dutch are on average the tallest people of the planet, and that's the myth is that that's because they eat a lot of cheese.
Sean Cody's tour ends at a more recently installed landmark. The giant I Amsterdam marketing logo is a popular photo op for visitors, and one that captures the inclusive spirit of this open city.